Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. I just want to say this is just general share advice and not personal advice, as per the disclaimers on the website. Wolf, it's going to be a short video today. There's a few things that we want to talk about. But before I do anything, we just want to say again, the Equity Story IPO closes on Friday.
Yes.
And if Equity Story members still want, we'll guarantee that you get, we'll look after you. Equity Story members go ahead of anyone else, so we'll make sure that obviously you get your whatever you want to put in. Now, there's not long left, and it's doing extremely well, by the way, Wolf. We're actually the demand has been incredible, but if you don't want to miss out, because there's a good chance that it's going to close on Friday, go to the Investor Center. Just click on Investor Center and become part of Equity Story. And hopefully, if you believe in me and Wolf, we can obviously take this business to maybe where it should be over the next 4 or 5 years.
I believe, Dave. I believe.
Well, yeah, I do believe, but not when we have stories like Bud. So I want to talk about and it's always there's a lot of winners we got, Wolf, but I want to start with a company that's not doing well, Bud. So they went in a trading halt today, and just to sort of put it straight, it was for a non-cash item, impairments of like the value of what they put on, for example, their name LifeX, the value they put on their sort of relationship with companies like Amazon, and due to an accounting issue, that had to get written down to zero. It is a terrible look. A terrible look, right? Because obviously, you think of stories like Bud, you think, it's a great little project, and if it's not working out, then you think, well, possibly maybe someone would buy it, but it's just not a good look when you get that sort of write down. And it seems very weird because it's like saying overnight your LifeX bulb is like doesn't have any value. It's like saying overnight your all your contacts and your relationships with Amazon and Google. But it is a technical reason through the accounting, and it has to be done, and that's the end of it. What we are gathering, obviously, from the company, is that, like they said, it's a non-cash item. They are looking at the fact that the EBITDA has improved, cash flow outflows have decreased, margins have improved, cash on hand increased, all while revenues dropped due to COVID. So, they're focusing on that side of the business, which is doing very, very well. But certainly, obviously, it's never a good look, Wolf. And the question is that really it's all about the finances. Are the finances okay with that? So we posed that question to Bud, are the finances fine? And they've said yes, right? Now, whether you can believe what people say is one thing or another, and if they're happy now, they might not be happy tomorrow. But at the moment, everything for them is how they see it is, and they obviously expect to be trading again on Thursday after they've fixed the issue with they're in a trading halt at the moment due to exactly, it's a voluntary suspension initiated by them just to finish the issue they had with the cleansing of the shares, right? So hopefully that's all it is, Wolf. But it's not a good look, champion. It's not a good look at all because you go, why? I mean, why can you just, how can you have a value on something and just be written off overnight? Because normally, if you've got a sort of impairment cost, Wolf, they tend to come down over 4 or 5 years slowly, don't they? As a business is
the goodwill is normally written down over a period of time, right?
Yeah.
So look, I think just to summarize, look, it doesn't affect the cash flows, the write down, but it's definitely, like you said, it's not a great look.
It affects the sentiment.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, obviously the sentence is already down, but it doesn't lend itself to attract new investors, and it will struggle, because of course, remember, this is a business that needs cash flows and needs positive cash flows to survive further down the track. So this is what they're working on. So that's probably the problematic thing here, is that it's going to be very difficult to attract new financiers to the business.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they need obviously the major shareholders to back them, or they're going to have to sell it, or bring a sugar daddy in. All right. So listen, it's all not lost yet, but it's not a good look. And anyway, we'll see what happens when they start trading again this week. Wolf, I just want to go through.
We have a good. So we have a good something good, please. Positive news.
Yeah, I know it's like awful, isn't it?
I know. Well, we got that out of the way at least. So let's talk about some good stuff.
All right. Well, there's no good stuff at the moment. This stupid war, Wolf. It's like
I know, but where is the positivity here in the market? That's
all
what
right.
I'm.
Well, this is what we're talking about. You know what, Wolf? We've hit it very well recently with the war stocks, and again, I'm going to read this to everybody. Newcastle coal futures broke above $270 per ton for the first time ever, boosted by soaring demand for electricity and power, particularly from European countries, and tight supplies amidst the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Germany is set to create reserves of coal for electricity power plant operators. Italy announced it could reopen some shuttered coal plants, and Berlin is also considering an incentive plan to revive some troubled liquid natural gas terminal projects. The European Union's coal imports rose by 55.8% in January.
Wow.
From a year ago to 10.8 million tons, of which Russia supplied 43%. The data based on ship tracking finds. So let's have a look at that, Wolf. And hang on.
And Dave, I think this is where you put in the rocket emojis and say it's going to the moon.
Well, I mean, look at that. And let's just have a look at some of these war stocks. And,
yes.
And Whitehaven was on Einstein's again. Hang on. Let's put it in there. I flicked it around, moved it somewhere else. So when you look at this sort of demand, right, and you look at Whitehaven here, Wolf, let's talk about Whitehaven because CRN, again, I think is holding up very well. That's why it's a hot stock. But it's obviously coking coal, and the others are thermal coal. So it's the thermal coal prices, the ones that are having this move up as well. And when you look at New Hope Coal, are we jumping on board? I think we are, aren't we?
And we have to, don't we? I mean, when you read that commentary, you think to yourself, this is going higher. That's how you read it, right? Remember, we love all-time highs, Dave. It doesn't scare us, does it?
Yeah,
in fact, we're very bullish on that.
And you've got a great stop loss on this at about 248, right? And I think we could just target around that 290, Wolf. And you know, if you look at the stocks seriously, when they run, they can really run.
Yep.
Right? It had a breather. It's actually, I think it's got at least 3 more candles or 4 in this run. So yeah, definitely, I think I'd be having a look at it.
I think the only caveat, Dave, the only caveat I can think of is all of a sudden Russia and Ukraine agree to some sort of ceasefire. And
listen, if we're going to have to use a stop loss, what a great time to use one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
I think that's the only caveat you've got because, of course, this is running because of this conflict. So if the conflict stops all of a sudden, then potentially you're going to see a deflated, this price deflate quite quickly. So this is why you've got to be aggressive and you've got to have stop losses.
You've got to take that into account, right?
Yep.
And I think we'll just stick with the New Hope. It's got a better chart. There might be a bit of resistance at 350 for Whitehaven Wolf, and so we'll leave it there. But again, what you saw was wheat prices up again, Wolf, through the roof overnight. So let's have a look at Graincorp again. I mean, look at that. Why wouldn't you buy that? Surely that's on the way. You'd think to $9, right?
Another one that's probably affected by the Ukraine-Russia thing. So, again, I'm looking at the commentary. Just go back to the market economics, trading economics. Sorry, and again, the commentary out of there is pretty bullish on the wheat. So again, you've got a very similar scenario to what's happening with thermal coal, and yeah, you've got another one that put a stop loss pretty tight and hope it goes up to 9 and hopefully beyond.
Yeah, and I think you've got a stop loss around 819, Wolf. I've used the top of that previous candle. I think that's halfway through the candle where it is now. I think that sort of makes sense to me. Yeah. And You could go. You could listen. You could give yourself that leeway and go 7.98, and target that $9.
Just to give you the background, 30% Russia and Ukraine account for world wheat exports, and it's a 9-year high for the bushels. So you can see another very bullish commodity.
Well, listen. I think though we'll just do those two. I mean, we've got all these war stocks. I think a lot of people are in them, but if you're not in them, they're still good to get into. So we're going to put those two out: Graincorp and New Hope Coal,
Mm-hmm.
because and Wolf, for just going back up to here, did have some announcements today, and there weren't many, but IGO came out.
Mm-hmm.
What's and the market obviously likes the fact they're not doing that acquisition.
Yeah, well, can you imagine doing an acquisition at the top of the market, like copper at all-time highs, and they want to buy a company that produces copper? It probably wasn't great because they all would have probably needed to go back to the market and raise more cash. So I think markets just saying relief, going, well, thank God for that. Wait for a better moment in time to actually purchase the CSA mine.
All right. And I'm just having a look, Wolf. The another one a story that we followed, and the market's not like it, but I'm a little bit surprised with it because I read through the report, Wolf, and they're getting some a bit more traction now with some movies coming out. So when you look at VGL Vista Group,
Mm-hmm.
it's not trending. It looks terrible. It looks like it's going lower, but it's not turning around with the recovery, is it? Strange.
No, it is. Look, and this is the mysteries of the stock market sometimes, right? You've got an improving leisure sector, especially when you see some of the other ones like AGL that we're following, and some of maybe the travel stocks are starting to go up. Yet this one with the cinemas is doing the opposite. So is there something wrong with the company? Is probably my question.
Yeah, no, it's not very good at all.
Mm-hmm.
Wolf, just having a look and listen. This is I'm just going to have a look at Einstein's because Einstein's last week was again in a really difficult market. These little stocks, and we didn't have many, are sort of generally speaking working for us, Wolf. My view is obviously to be aggressive as you can with them because of
Mm-hmm.
the volatility. Like you said, there could be, all the stocks that are trending could turn really quickly and go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, ones that were on this weekend, on the weekend, like Whitehaven Coal, if people in that list doing well, I think obviously nickel doing well, and that chart still looks great. Obviously, CRN, MCR still working its way higher. I think LYC just went through that signal beautifully.
Wow.
And you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Now's got a buy signal. I mean, if it looks like this by the end of the week, you think, hello, we're going higher.
Mm.
SGM, Things Metals, that had that fantastic report that we got a target price of 20. It's definitely on the way, as is ORA, Wolf. Again, a fantastic announcement 3 weeks ago and holding above that 350. That's sort of price action you want to see. CMM, obviously looking very good and carrying on the run. And you can see why we buy momentum here, Chris Story. And again, GRV making some money for us. CAI, again, little gold company, just started to pull gold up, doing very well. CXL, again, just going up and had actually a nicer move up earlier in the week. BRI, looking very, very good on the materials section. BSC, that one hasn't gone up. But BGT had a nice little move. Look at that one, Wolf. Went from, that's a nice little, 35, 40%. Then
Mm.
we go down to the industrials. We had SRG, actually green, not looking too bad for the week. EVZ, IGN. So good little story, this one, Wolf, and bouncing up and possibly. But maybe this is a sort of story. I don't know. I think if you're in this and you made a profit, I'd be taking it. Gem. I wonder how Gem's doing because it's sort of holding up. This little DDT. Now we had a look at this. You didn't like the story at all, so just beware. Wolf's not too keen on that one.
Mm.
One of the biggest stories says AC. Not surprisingly, I suppose you call it a war stock, Wolf. I
You
think it's
would?
had a nice sort of 5% this week. REG looking good and still looking at a buy. IHL again not a bad looking chart, and VLS up for the week. What a good looking chart this is. I mean, it's going beautifully. CTE likewise just holding in there. Let's have a look at PSI. Gosh, Wolf, you know what? What a chart this is. It just needs to break now above that $5. And then I think it could go for a stronger run. Now, you were very impressed with the PSI announcement
Yeah,
last week,
absolutely.
as you were impressed with the ABA, and again,
Mhm.
sort of moving slightly up for the week. CAT, a little micro cap, hardly trades. PEXA, I like the chart, Wolf. I know it's early days, but it did have a nice move up, and I think it could go higher by the end of the week. Again, I think ABB looking good. IGL, so one of these great little dividend plays is going for a nice little run. Good story. Uh, NZM, again, a little New Zealand play, Wolf. I think
Mhm.
maybe go and test somewhere under that. NSR and obviously APZ. So good to see the Einsteins again the first week really starting to get a nice little move. And the ones last week, I mean, look at some of the moves we've had. Look at YAL. It's had a fantastic move up. And
Another
then
coal stock.
look at TER. I mean, great little moves up. Obviously Whitehaven, we had it on 2 weeks ago. Obviously Woodside again. What's this little TMK done? Oh, it had a move. It's a little bit risky, but it looks okay. So yeah, Wolf, I'm pretty happy. Even PRU, which is down today, has had a great little move up from when it went on.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I mean Einstein's doing its bit even in a really really tough market. But you know what it is, Wolf? It's picking those war stocks. It's picking those stocks that the market's looking at in this environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is why Einstein's work doesn't matter what environment we're in. It always find something to play with.
Yeah. Well, listen, on that note, Wolf, we're going to put those two trades on. I'd like to
Mhm.
thank everyone to listen to Equity Story and have a wonderful day. And look forward
And
to
don't,
tonight
yeah,
live.
exactly. Don't forget tonight,
All
please
right. Thanks. Bye bye.
join us. Bye bye.